got to go and be like everyone else. So there are no stupid questions, and bring them on, kid. Bring them on. You'll probably be able to answer more than me, buddy.
Well, I'm just going to go down, take a couple questions, and we'll talk about it a little bit. First question that I'm going to bring off the list here is, can a ghost follow you home?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. A ghost, a spirit definitely has free will, just like we have free will. It will move wherever it wants to move. Now that's just something that a lot of people freak out about.
Yes.
And we have to, in the spiritualist religion, we believe in a lot of the natural laws. If anybody has read the book The Secret, that's sort of a primer of the natural laws of which we work with. And for us, the basic tenet is like attracts like. So that means if you have a spirit that may be like you, and we're not talking about an earthbound spirit or anything that's nasty or anything. We're just talking about a common spirit that may be attracted to you. And what we used to say at church is, it is attracted to your light. It's attracted to your energy. It's attracted to your vitality. And many times, these spirits or entities will follow you home, and for the most part, it will be more of a pleasant experience. You'll walk into a room and you'll say, oh, I don't remember this room feeling this good, or the word sweet comes to mind. And I know I've had that a couple times. And these are positive experiences. This is something that's a little bit different than the negative experiences. So yes, an entity or a spirit can follow you home. On the flip side now, you can go out there and you can be targeted. Let's say you're going to go in there to try to convince a spirit to leave, and I won't say exorcise a spirit or force a spirit. You're there. In my religion, we use rescue circles, and we use them a lot in order to go to convince the spirit to leave the location or whatever. And so we're trying to make the spirit change, but they can latch onto you. I had an entity, what we call an attachment, target me because we were going to go and we were going to help a family that was being tormented, and it's kind of a long story, but it hooked on to me, and I never realized it. And the reason why it hooked on to me is because I had a chink in my armor. I always tell people you have to have 100% belief in what you're doing, your intent of being protected or whatever. And this was a case that I had I wasn't sure if I wanted to take the case in the first place, so that was the chink in my armor. So when I decided to take the case, and we started to do the background research into it, it hit me, and and it caused some problems. I was woken up at 3:33 a.m. for 5 days straight. I started hearing dragging sounds in my house, and in my house, what people don't understand is just because I am a medium doesn't mean that I go and I'm doing seances in my house. I don't. I'm like everybody else. And my thing is hey, this is my sphere of living. You're welcome here, but I don't want to hear you, see you, smell you. This is my refuge. This is my sanctuary. And pretty much the spirits who live in my home with us leave me alone. They don't really show themselves because they know, unless it's something that's a crisis, and then they're warning me about something. But this was something that really came at me. I was surprised, and I was shocked, and it was the first time it had happened to me. And I had this thing latch on to me quite a while, and it wasn't until I had that I had personality changes and all this other stuff, and finally it dawned on me, and I realized it. And once I had self-realization, I knew what I had to do, and I just took a ceremonial shower and I cleansed myself with Reiki. I did that a couple times, and it was gone. But I also took a pass on the case. And I feel that whoever picked the case up after us, I believe that they were targeted after that. Is my firm belief of it.
Okay. Hey, I've got a quick question from the chat room out here. This is from Troy, and he wanted to know what your beliefs were on doppelgangers and how they're formed.
Doppelgangers? That's me and Bobcat. We're the doppelganger gang.
You're the doppelgangers? Well, which one is the good one and which one's the evil one?
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna give Bobcat the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say he's the good one. He's younger than me, and he's got hair, so he can get away with it. But doppelgangers, for the most part, it's almost like it's close to, in my mind, in the way that I understand it, it's close to a saint is one of the attributes of a saint, which is bilocation, being in two places at the same time. And I believe that it is totally possible. I believe that we are both physical and spiritual beings, and I believe that spiritual being can be projected out. Sometimes people feel that it's through astral projection. I did have an instructor that swore by that, and I myself, I'm just worried that there's another one of me running around out there. But let me just clarify the attribution of a saint. People get put off when I say that. You don't have to be a saint to experience bilocation or experience being a doppelganger.
Okay, and just for the record here, you mind telling everyone kind of exactly what a doppelganger is supposed to be for someone that may not?
Well, doppelgangers, there's a lot of different. I got to tell you, first off, there's the parapsychological definition, and then there's the spiritualist definition. And I have to say that a doppelganger and a spiritualist, I'm not so clear on the parapsychological, but in the spiritualist tradition, a doppelganger is a spiritual twin. And sometimes the spiritual twin is sent out or is drawn in a crisis situation. We have a thing called crisis telepathy, where and many people experience this, where you are, you get a message that Aunt Betsy had died or something, and at the time that you get it, she passes. Well, sometimes that works in reverse. Sometimes you're almost drawn into a situation where your spiritual second, we believe that everybody has an etheric double, and that etheric double is sent forward and acts as your spiritual second in certain situations. So, I mean, that's the way we work with it, and that's the way I was taught with it, if that clears it up at all.
Yeah, quite a bit. That's a little bit more deeper than the explanation I had of it.
Well, this is one of those words. This is one of those terms that there's various definitions, and like I can tell you what the Morris Pratt Institute, which is my religious studies, will quote, and I can also tell you what other organizations and will say they are, and I can also tell you what the Catholic Church refers to them as. So I mean, there's three distinct definitions, and actually they're close, but they're not exact.
All right, and for everyone tuning in out there late, this is Jimmy with Ghost Chatter, and we're on with the Reverend Tim Shaw. All right, let's move on down our list here, Tim. What do you say?
Sounds good to me, man.
Okay, can a ghost physically hurt you?
Yes, absolutely. And I have to tell you that, I mean, some people will say that, it can kill you. I don't know about that. I believe that you can be frightened to death. People can be frightened to death. Coronary thrombosis can be brought on by massive excitement. But I can tell you that down in the basement of the French Manor House at Old Fort Niagara up in Youngstown, New York, and I used to be a volunteer up there, I was carrying a couple jugs of hard cider down there. We were doing a crafts weekend, and we had people from Michigan. We had a lot of people from around the country there. And I went down into the basement, and all of a sudden, and the place has been haunted, and I've heard footsteps, and I've heard doors, doors slamming, and for me, it's not that big of a deal. Some things creep me out. I've gotten actually driven out of there a couple times because it creeped me out because I was in the place by myself. But I got to tell you that as I walked down these stairs, and we had these refrigerators in the basement, I got whacked across the right hand. It was like Sister Mary, whoever, whacking me with a 12-inch ruler right across the back of my hand, and it hurt so bad that I dropped the jug I was carrying, and it actually looked down, and it was a red welt. And that was the most serious thing that ever happened to me. I have seen people that provoke getting pushed. I've seen people